Welcome to the Diane Ingram Show. I'm your host, life coach Diane Ingram. Today my guest is Amy Foster, wife, mother, teacher, and business owner. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? One of the things we're talking about is acknowledging yourself for all that you do in your life. I bet if you look at your life, you've got a lot of things going on too. Some of us are involved in church activities. Some of us are involved in school activities, clubs, organizations. We're on the board of the library. We're on the board of a corporation. We do sports. So many things going on. Sometimes the little judge, little gremlin sitting on our shoulders, like, oh, you're not doing it perfectly, you're not getting it done in time, you're kind of disorganized, you've got that messy corner in your kitchen, berating us for not doing everything 100%. And the truth is, 80% is good enough. The Japanese talk about that. 80% is good enough. So give yourself a break. Things don't have to be done perfectly. Acknowledge yourself for all that you do. One of the things that happens to us when we're trying to be perfect and we're trying to get everything done is we start looking at other people and thinking, well, they're doing it perfectly. They seem to be completely fine and relaxed and get everything done and just everything perfect. And that is a deadly game, that comparison game, because the truth is, we don't really know what's going on inside of them. They could be a bundle of nerves trying to get everything done. They could have other issues going on. Comparing is never a game that we can win. So it's important to, see what other people are doing and acknowledge what they do, but also give ourselves a break. Today we're going to be talking about Amy's messy corner in her kitchen and how when she sees other people's homes, they look so neat, and she feels less than by seeing, or feels deficient because she's got the messy corner. We all have parts of our lives that are not 100%. Acknowledge yourself for all that you're doing, and give yourself a break in the areas that aren't quite where you want them to be. We'll be talking about how she can clean up that messy corner, but it's most important that she's feeling good about herself for all the other things she does in her life. Thank you, and stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to the Diane Ingram Show. I'm your host, Diane Ingram, and today I'm with Amy Foster. We're going to talk with Amy about some organizational things. Amy is a mother, a wife, a teacher, and a business owner. Welcome, Amy. It's nice to be with you.
Thank you, Diane.
Yeah. So where would you like to begin with organization?
Oh, well, I think I would love to tackle a specific project that I have that is kind of near and dear to my heart. It is the entryway into our kitchen, which is where everybody enters into our home, and it is a mess.
Is it where everybody kind of plops everything as they come in?
It is. I have mail there, books, slips to go back and forth to school, and it's just been kind of gnawing at the back of me. I think I should be better organized. I'm a librarian.
Okay. So I think we have a picture we're going to show right now of your corner.
Okay.
That's the before picture, and then we'll look again, if you're willing, to show what the after looks like. And you're probably going to be more willing to show the after picture than the before picture. So
I'll be happy to, yes.
Yeah. So organization, does it show up as clutter in other parts of your life, or is it mostly physical clutter in your house?
It does show up in other parts of my life. I've been thinking about it. It's something that, again, I pride myself on. I tell people sometimes I'm definitely okay if I need to find something, but if someone else did, I always use the hit by the bus argument. If I were hit by a bus, no one would be able to find anything in my house. So it would be good to get everything, a place for everything and everything in its place.
So it's mostly confined to physical places in your house. How about the organization of your life or your work schedule or your business? You're a business owner, you're a teacher,
Yeah.
a librarian. How about your library? Is it organized?
My library is organized thanks to the Dewey Decimal System. But again, my desk area, my files could be definitely better organized. And it does go into my life. There are things that, although I keep a Google Calendar and now have smartphones and can get at it everywhere, that part of it is pretty good, but it does pan out into more parts of my life.
And what do you think causes you to be less organized than you want to be?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't. I think it would be something I would be so much happier if everything were in its place and I could find things and I would look around. I'm sometimes embarrassed to see the space that I'm speaking of right near the kitchen door because it feels like it's a reflection, of me and of my my habits or something, or my family, or something big.
So when you see that space and you feel like it's a reflection of you, what are you saying to yourself about that? In what way do you think it's reflecting you?
It just shows a space that doesn't have any, I have rolls of film in one drawer there, so that tells you how long it's been brewing.
Back in the days of film.
Back in the days of film, and who knows what that film has on it. Now, I should probably just toss it, but then I go to the play. The girls are first starting to walk, and they're 21 and 18 and 15 now. So it's hard for me to let go of some things, I think, is what I'm getting to.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think gets in the way of you letting go of things?
That I'm going to miss it somehow. That I'm going, and I think it's the same. Yeah, I'm thinking about my closet upstairs. Oh no, I love that particular, outfit, even though I haven't worn it for 5 years.
How does it make you feel when you said you feel like it's a reflection of you? I'd like to hear more about how you feel when you see the space and it's reflecting you in what way?
I feel as if like when people come to the house and when I go to other people's homes, I'm eyeing things, looking around like they don't have that spot like I do. So where do they put everything? And where do they not get mail, or they do something with it right when it comes into the home, which is, what I know should be done, but not always what I follow through with. So it's like a shame, I guess, not real, deep, but kind of a superficial shame that I feel.
And it sounds like it's a little bit of a preoccupation if you're going to other people's houses and kind of looking around and seeing where their corners might be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're kind of comparing yourself, which is always a deadly game because we often come out, not looking so well. We compare to others and it's just comparing apples and oranges. I mean, we have different lives. I was wondering if one of the factors in your life is the fact that you're a wife, a mother, a teacher, a business owner. That's a lot on your plate.
That is true, and I like that you give me that as an excuse, because I feel as if I could make the time. I definitely don't take the time to take care of things like that. I'm not a super Susie Homemaker housekeeper type thing, and I don't choose to give myself the time to take care of those things. So that's definitely a priority of mine. And yet I kind of expect to have the rewards, don't I, of taking time that I don't take.
Well, I'm wondering, you said you keep your schedule on a Google Calendar. I also do that, and I find that really helpful. I even had things color-coded. I love it, because it keeps me really organized. And so when you put in all the things, when my kids were in kindergarten, it was must-dos and can-dos. When you put in all the must-dos, what kind of time do you have left?
I have, and this is something that I do for my business especially, because I do have the hours of, 8 to 4 for business. For work, there are two businesses.
Right.
Work, my day job, my school librarian job, and then I put all of my kids' activities and the things that I have to do, and then the time that I do have available for my business, which I try to put in about 10 to 15 hours a week. And then it seems as if there's not a lot of time, and again, it is a choice, not a lot of time if I chose to to take an hour or whatever a week. Sounds like that's where I'm headed, to organize or to, take care of a project.
And then what happens come weekends? Do you have athletic events with your kids?
Yes. Yeah, and now I just have one at home, and the other two are off in college, and actually one is in Europe. But I do have the one at home whose athletic events happen on the weekends. I often have business events on the weekend because I can't do those during the week, and it's the kind of business that people are looking to do events on the weekends as well. So that does tend to take up most of the weekends.
Yeah, so listening to you, Amy, I just want you to give yourself a break because you do so many things and there's not a lot of time left over. I mean, just listening to you, my head's kind of spinning. You work a full-time job, you're a wonderful mother, you're a wonderful wife, you've got a business that's going very well, I think, for you. What do you do in your business?
I am an independent consultant with Arbonne International.
Okay, and that's face products,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
skincare, wellness products. The wellness is the side that's really taking off right now.
Wonderful. And you create events around that?
We just had a very successful event this weekend with people from Massachusetts down to New Jersey coming in, about 80 or 90 women mostly. There were 3 or 4 men coming in to find out more about what the business is about.
And you hosted that, is
yes.
that right?
I put that on, yeah.
You got a lot going on. You
Yeah.
have a lot going on.
I do.
So just giving yourself the space to kind of, think about that and just reward yourself with the knowing of how successful you are in all those areas of your life.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really important to do that because particularly as women, we just keep thinking, I'm just not there yet. I'm just not there yet. I have this long list. And when our children are young, and I understand that your children are getting older now, you've got a couple off to college, which gives you some relief because you're not going to their soccer games or their
Right.
sports games or hockey games on the weekends, but you still have one at home. Yeah. So there's a lot going on for you.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So that kind of, I can understand how it'd be easy just to find at least one place in your house where you just kind of throw and run and go because you're on the go a lot. Yeah. Yeah, so just kind of understanding that it's just that time of your life where everything is happening all at once. Yeah.
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
Give myself a little permission then.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But when you look at that corner, you still feel kind of, ugh, and like it's not how you want it to be. So what do you think you need to do? Just let's focus on that corner. And you said you would come back next month. So let's try to keep it just to that one space and see if you can experience some success there. Because when you experience success in one place, it's easier to kind of say, oh, look at that, and to feel really good about it, and to use that energy to tackle another part of your life or another area. So that corner, what do you think you need to do as a first step?
Well, I think I might have just kind of come across it when I was saying about the calendar and fitting time in, is devoting, maybe an hour a week to it, maybe 2 if I can, but kind of chunking up time so that I could tackle it in, kind of bitty piece sizes.
Okay. Would it be helpful to put that in your Google Calendar?
It would.
Yeah, I find it helpful when I
Yeah.
just say, okay, because then it's scheduled.
Right.
And I even schedule things like time with my husband
Yeah.
or, a date or exercising, or meditation or whatever that's important to me. I literally write it in my calendar, and when that hour comes, I'm more committed because I'm seeing it there on the computer screen, as it were, but on the
Right.
page or wherever.
Right.
So when do you think you might find the time in your week to put this hour or 2 hours?
It could be, depending on the week, in the evenings. Certainly, even if I had an event or something, and I'm usually home by, 9 or 10, I could certainly give it a half an hour once, or even twice a week. During the evenings, I could.
Okay.
Probably
Because
do
one
that.
thing to remember also is you're doing something else during that time. So what do you think you'll have to move out of the way in order to put that in there?
It would just be, usually during that time I'm, sending emails, checking on the business and statistics and events and that kind of thing, looking at invitations or tallying up something or other. So I could do that. And I'm just thinking in the multitasking way that I do, I could even have a tape or something playing at the same time. so that I could reward myself with, doing two things.
Absolutely. How can you enhance the experience?
Yeah.
Sometimes we bring in things that make it more fun or to make it more sacred in some way.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to go back there and do that. So what kind of things do you think you need to bring in order to make it a more pleasurable experience for you?
Well, yeah, now that you said that, I kind of just reversed myself because I was thinking, well, I could, do more, and I'm thinking, no, wait, I need to just maybe concentrate on this. So maybe playing a favorite album, going back to the old album days, or a playlist or something from my iPad, and that would be a measurable amount of time and also reward me with things that I don't usually do, which is sit and enjoy some music.
Yeah, yeah. And
like
even if
that.
it's kind of lively, it might even bring some energy and you can be bopping around while you're doing it. Yeah. So how do you think you'll feel once you clean up that corner?
That would be an enormous, it's not as if I'm awake all night thinking like, oh my goodness, my corner's a mess, but it would feel enormously powerful just to get that side
Wow.
done. It would. And like you said, it would be an accomplishment, something that hopefully would, fuel just going into other areas. Maybe I'll tackle my closet after that.
That's right. That's right. So it would be powerful in what way, do you think?
I would just feel an accomplishment, a sense of accomplishment, something that I set out to do, which I do a lot. I mean, I accomplish tasks on a daily basis, but this is something that's been kind of eating away at me. So I think it would be great to tackle it and move on.
When you think of accomplishing things in other areas of your life, can you use any of those skills or that motivation to bring to this corner of your, is it your kitchen?
It's in the kitchen. Yeah.
Corner of your kitchen.
Sure, I would guess, the way I would go about organizing an event or something, or doing, some kind of a special project for either school or for my business. I could, tackle it with the same organization, because I do know better.
You know how to organize.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. And you
Yeah.
can bring some of those skills in to help you with that corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I really look forward to hearing how this goes. Is there anything else, like any support that you might need in that?
No, well, yes. There is a large area, sub-portion of this little area that's, my husband's, stuff, and what I've done in the past is just kind of put his into a bin. And I think asking for his help in helping me to clear it out would be a good thing.
Okay, great. Well, I look forward to hearing how this all goes.
Thank
and hopefully freeing you of this surface shame that you feel looking at it every time you pass it. Imagine looking at it and having it look wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will feel great.
Yeah. Well, it's a pleasure being with you today, Amy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, and we'll check in with you next month.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it.
Thank you. Talking with Amy about her messy corner in her kitchen. One of the things we talked about is how she could make it more fun to clean it up. Getting creative with projects we have makes life more fun. One of the things she can do is play a piece of music that gets her either relaxed or excited. I have a friend who used to clean her house to Tina Turner, and that just made it so much more pleasurable. And it actually picked up the pace of cleaning her house because she was busy dancing around her vacuum as she did it. I like music and I like to dance, so I love to put on music when I'm picking up my house or when I'm cooking or doing those kind of tasks that may not be fun in and of themselves, cleaning out a closet, cleaning up a corner. So that makes it more fun. And another thing is bringing in someone to have fun doing it with. In this case, Amy was talking about how she could enroll her husband because part of the clutter in the corner is his. So by bringing your husband into it, that makes it more fun because they get to do it together. Sometimes you can go to the container store and find containers that might be colorful or just fun ways to put those things that are in the corner, store those pieces in. Can you think of other ways that might be fun to make a task easier to do? I'm going to challenge you between now and the next time we meet to think of ways that you can complete a task in a way that might be fun. What is it you like to do that could make it more fun? When we create ritual around what we're doing, I had a client who was needing to write her essay for her master's program, and she was just procrastinating and couldn't get to it. So we talked about how can you make it more fun for you? How can you create ritual around it? She loves a good pot of tea. She loves flowers. So she went out and got herself some flowers, made a nice pot of tea, found a sunny corner in her room, put on some really good music, and then she was able to tackle that project. So by bringing in more fun things, being more creative, how can you bring more spark to the project? You actually are able to have more fun and accomplish a lot more. So think about it. What could you do to make life more fun, those more mundane things? And email me. We'll talk about it next time. Thank you. You've been watching The Diane Ingram Show. Thanks for tuning in today. We've been with Amy Foster and talked about that corner of her house that she doesn't like to look at every time she walks into her kitchen. So what part of your house do you see every time you walk in that kind of unsettles you? We've been talking about ways to acknowledge yourself for all that you do all the time. What parts of your life are you overlooking or taking for granted? Sometimes the things that come easy for us, we take for granted. But those are all parts of ourselves that we're busy doing in our day-to-day lives, and it's important to acknowledge all that we do. We also talked about comparing ourselves. Who are you comparing yourself to? I noticed at one point that when I was getting ready for company, I often had my aunt on my shoulder who used to have the cleanest house I've ever seen in my whole life. And she was always sitting there on my little shoulder kind of saying, no, you really should do this, and don't forget to do that before your company comes. So I kind of just told my aunt, thanks very much, but I'll do it the way I want to do it. And give yourself a break from that little judge, whatever form it shows up in. Stop comparing. So I want you to look at your life and see where these kind of issues show up, ways that you might acknowledge yourself, and email me. Let me know, because I bet you when it's happening with you, it's happening with other people. And we can all learn from each other. If you'd like to be on the show, email me that too and let me know why and in what ways you think you would like help and ways that you could help other people by your experience. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time.